Hey guys, Nick Ritchie here. Welcome along to this webinar, and I'm shooting this as more of like a presentation. So just sit back as you're at your computer now and you're listening to the sound of my voice and watching this video, and I'm going to show you today a few simple techniques to help you to break through. First, we're going to show you how to break through procrastination. How many times have you wanted to get started on something and then put it off and put it off? I'm going to show you how to boost your confidence quickly and easily, and then I'm also going to show you how to overcome challenges. So a specific process that you can use, a simple tool that you can use starting today in order to be able to make your challenges seem smaller, shrink them down, and just make them seem more manageable. But before I get into that, I just want to share with you how I got into coaching. And it wasn't that long ago, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but I was actually started out transforming my body in the gym. I was bullied throughout high school. I had low confidence, low self-esteem, low self-worth. Maybe you can relate to a time when you felt not so good about yourself, and this isn't a sob story by any means, but what this is just sharing with you a little bit of a background with how I came to get to where I am now. So to cut a long challenging story short, eventually I was in my very early adult years and I joined the gym. Hadn't been looking after my health. I had let my health slip. I had low energy at the end of the day. I was falling asleep at 3 o'clock. I wasn't fueling my body with foods that would be really nutritious, and quite frankly, I was just living well below the standards that I could have been setting for myself. I could have had higher conditions and lived in a better way, but at the time I didn't know if there was any other way. And so my best option to try to feel better, to try to break out of where I was to join the gym. And I've been working out for three months on a Swiss ball in my basement, and I've been staying committed to that process. And so I joined the gym and I said to the membership consultant, I remember looking across the room as I heard the gym music booming, and I looked around and saw all these fitness people in their tracksuits, and I felt quite intimidated and nervous at the time. And I think that was understandable. Maybe you felt like that at some point in your life, maybe when you're starting something new. But I said to the membership consultant as I sat across the room that I really want to transform my body in order to become healthy. I want to look like Brad Pitt in Fight Club, where he's got the six-pack, and I said to him, that'll make me happy. And that was at the point that I thought it would really make me happy. But to cut a long story short, I transformed my body 6 months later. I had the six-pack, but I wasn't any happier. So what gives? I transformed my body. I thought that would make me happy. I thought that I would get the relationships that I wanted, that friends would respect me the way I always wanted, that I would get in the romantic relationships, that my life would just all of a sudden change if I changed my body and made this drastic improvement. And although people around me noticed, they didn't notice in a way that I really wanted. So maybe you've reached a goal and you've been so excited and so inspired to achieve it, and then there's come a point in your life where a point in your life during achieving that goal, either before, while when you achieved it, or after, where you were like so excited, so inspired, and all of a sudden you'd achieved it and your expectations weren't met, and you were like, wow, is this all there is? Like maybe you felt really good after you achieved your goal for 5 minutes, for 5 days, and then your brain came back and said, well, is this all there is? So that's how I felt at the time. And so I thought, well, surely there must be more to this. But I continued on that same pattern of being really obsessed with changing my body, and that was really all I was focusing on, rather than focusing on all the other areas in life that I could have improved, like starting off working on myself, growing myself, working on improving myself so that my relationships would improve, my spirituality or that side, my finances, my job or business, and of course I was focusing only on the one area of my body. So I think that in order to really be happy in life, in order to have that continuous state of happiness, or to reach for it more often and to be able to literally sit in it more often, is to have more of a balance in life. And I always use the analogy of spinning plates. You've seen those people with the sticks on a table, and then they've got the plates spinning on top of them, and they're always spinning the plates. And for a lot of us, it's hard to spin all the plates at once. But once we can get that balance of spinning most of our plates at once, without having just one plate spinning and the rest toppled over, that's when I think we get the most balanced life and the most the most day-to-day enjoyment. So eventually I transformed my body, and I had started to help people with their health and fitness. So I kind of be saying, wow, how did you change your body? And so I would literally work with people. So I studied personal training, and then shortly after I met up with some business mentors who taught me how to break out of where I was and the way I was thinking in order to get better results in my life, not just with my body, but with all the other areas. I just started this personal training business, and so they started to teach me new techniques and tools and strategies. And some of those tools and strategies were neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. Some of them were hypnosis, and some of them were based around those areas of just personal development. And so, got to get that water. So they've been teaching me new tools and techniques that I could use to not only help improve my life, but to improve the people that I was working with and improve their life. So I started off with a personal training background. I was coaching people in that fashion. So that's where my first coaching experience really came into play. And then after that, I was at a point where I was working with a client in the gym, was building a successful personal training business, and had been doing pretty well. I just appeared on radio twice, broadcast out to 4 million people on Kiwi FM, and I've been on in magazines, I've been in a newspaper, so I had a lot of exposure and I was doing pretty well for myself. This is, years later, and I was in the gym, I was working with a client, and all of a sudden he was doing some knee raises in the gym. And he said, well, I'm swinging right now. And I said, are you doing that? And he said, no. And then all of a sudden we realized that the ground was shaking and it was swaying as if we're on a ship on high seas. And it turns out there was the Christchurch earthquake. So we ran outside. I went for the doorknob to get out of the gym, missed the doorknob the first time because the ground was moving that much. Got outside, stood on the ground like this as the ground was swaying around. And it literally felt unreal, like the whole world was just swaying like you're on a ship on high seas. And after the swaying had stopped, my client said, oh, I should probably call my dad. And so he called his dad, said, Dad, are you all right? And his dad said, yeah, I'm okay, but your boat's on fire. By the time my client had got home, a boulder had crushed through his house. Luckily his dad had escaped, but his boat was burned down as well. Sure, he had some other properties, but literally over the course of the next 24 hours, I had all my clients call me up and say, Nick, I don't have a job anymore because the building I used to live in had fallen down. I don't have a car anymore because it fell through the car parking lot or got crushed somehow. Or I don't have a house anymore because, it's unlivable. So I had most of my clients call me up, and within a moment, my entire world changed. And so for me, I was asking myself, well, where's the opportunity in this? Sure, this is a big challenge, but in every challenge, there's an opportunity. Just like in every opportunity, there's challenge. The two are always there. It's up to us to see the challenge in every opportunity, or to see the opportunity in every challenge. So for me, I saw the opportunity to relocate, rebuild elsewhere, and that's what I decided to do. Only a few weeks later, I was literally standing on the sunny beaches of Perth. I got grounded here, and then I started working with personal trainers to help them grow their business after I created my own business and appeared in the media and done quite a bit as far as personal training business owner. So I was able to apply that experience and literally help other personal trainers as a business coach, coaching them with the mindset, with the business strategies, with these types of things, marketing, all that stuff. And then after the more of the business coaching, I moved more into a life coaching fashion, and that's where I'm at now. I'm really interested in helping work with people on specific challenges that they have. So that's really just to cut a long story short. I've been in coaching for a long time, been applying neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, and these particular tools and techniques and strategies to help break through, to help create the change that people really want in their lives, as I've been able to myself, not only with my body, with my relationships, with my business, with the other areas of life that I work in. So what does life coaching involve, or what does coaching involve? Well, I just want to share that with you just for a moment. Really, it involves the umbrella of working on some of the key areas in life. And so some of those key areas, like I shared before, most of the key areas that people want to work on today is their health or their body or their wellness. Could be their wellness as far as their eating goes, as far as staying on track mindset wise. This is all about mindset. So life coaching is all about the approach, the mindset, shifting the blockages and opening you up and dissolving past challenges that are kind of limiting you from moving forward in the future. Some people want to lose weight because they've found themselves just not looking after their body for years, not eating in a way that's healthy and giving them the energy and the stamina and the vitality that they want. And they feel as though if they make a shift with their mindset, which a lot of people find, as many of my clients have, is that when they make these shifts inside, they can finally stabilize their weight at a weight that they're happy with, that gives them the energy and the vitality and the health that they've wanted. So that's one key area. Another key area is improving their relationships with themselves. So when I was able to really improve and grow myself on the inside and break through a lot of my barriers, a lot of my relationships around me actually improved. So everything from my family relationships to my friends to my intimate relationship with my wife. So a lot of different relationships are dependent, the quality of the relationship a lot of the time around us is dependent on the relationship that we have with ourselves inside. So another key area is in the business area. So some people want to make big business breakthroughs. Some people just feel like there's something stopping them from reaching that next level in their business. And usually it's something to do with what's going on up here. There's a little bit of a limiter, a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of something in there that's just kind of keeping someone in the box, and they need to get outside the box and look in. And that's where a coach can really help, to help you get outside the box and look into that box and make the changes inside the box that you need to. So if that makes sense. So how to use NLP. That's the next subject I want to get into. Just before I share these simple techniques to help you break through. First of all, NLP, what is it really? NLP is a range of tools and techniques and strategies that allow us to be able to make changes on the process level. So in other words, we can make changes using the tools in NLP to the areas that I've just shared with, health and improving relationships and business and these things. So NLP gives us a range of tools. Now, without boring you with all the different tools that are available, you can actually get your free copy of my book, Boost Your Body Image with NLP, which actually goes over 30 different tools and techniques, NLP tools and techniques that I use personally every single day in order to improve the quality of my life and those around me. So if you want to learn more about NLP and you want to actually learn some NLP tools and techniques yourself that you can apply now, then jump on to nickritchielive.com and download that free ebook, which is usually valued at $7. So jump in there, check that out. It's quite a big book, it's 70 pages, but I tell you what, it's an enjoyable read, and I'm sure you'll learn a lot about yourself in the process as you grab that book now. So let's just get started with what I've written up with some key strategies. First of all, starting with procrastination, how to break procrastination. So let me just get out my fancy pen. I remember yesterday I was just down at the beach as I was looking out over the blue sky, feeling the cool wind on the back of my neck as I heard the sound of seagulls squawking behind me. And I just knew that this webinar that I was going to shoot for you guys today was going to be at the right time and the right place. So as you listen to me now, you're probably at the right time and the right place now to be listening to this information in order to really allow it to sink into your unconscious, to the unconscious level. So in order to break through procrastination, how many of us, or have you ever been in a time and place, I know that we all have, but have you ever been in a time and place where you're just like, I really got to get that project completed, or I've really got to start that new project, or I've really got to start doing this new thing. Maybe it's maybe you need to start doing something new in your relationship that you're kind of a little bit scared. It's an area that you've never done before, that you've never started, and maybe you have to read about this area first. And maybe you've just been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Maybe there's a part of your business where, or in your job, where your boss has asked you to complete something or get started on something, or maybe you know that there's an area of your business that if you get started on it now, that it will be able to push you forward leaps and bounds so that you can actually start making even greater results. So we've all got different areas in our life. Maybe it's your health and fitness. Maybe you know that getting to the gym and exercising, or just exercising outside, going for a walk, maybe you know that getting started and moving your body is going to be that next step that you need in order to get the results. But there's something that keeps putting you off. Maybe you wake up in the morning and you go, it's too cold, I'll do it tomorrow. Or maybe you say, oh well, I'll start that new way of eating, that healthier way of eating tomorrow or next week, and then it just gets pushed to the next week. So what you're doing is you're literally taking that action step, that area that you want to get started on, and you're pushing it out into the future each time. So you're literally, procrastination just means, in NLP, it just means taking what you want to do now and putting it out into your future, So what you can do instead is you can use that exact same strategy, and you can use that for procrastination. It's really simple. And here's how it works. Let me write this up. Writing. Okay. So procrastinate your procrastination. So what you're really doing by procrastinating is you're saying, I have to get this done here. Yeah? So you've got this project, or that you want to get started on your health and fitness goals, or you want to get started somewhere, and here's you here, and you want to get started here, and you want to get started now, and you want to take action. But instead of taking action now when you know that you need to, what you do instead is you grab this little box here and you go yoink, and you put it into the future over here. Yeah? So I'm sure that you've been guilty of doing that in the past. I know I certainly have. So if you have the ability to be able to take what you need to get done now, instead of getting started now, you're able to take it and put it into the future. And so, I'll start it tomorrow, I'll start it next week. Here's what you can do. You can take that exact same process that you use there, the already tool, the great resource that you already have inside you. And here's something that I believe that all of us have all the answers, all the resources, all the tools and all the strategies we all need inside us already. Some of us just need to be able to, we just need to have a new awareness that we actually have that, the big awareness that I'm bringing to you now, for example, with this, and to be able to apply that same tool to it in a slightly different way to get a better result. So procrastinating your procrastination simply just means that you've got your procrastination, you've got you here, here's what you need to do, but what happens is you've got to do this, so you've got the action that you want to do, you want to start moving your body a bit more and become healthier, and instead of putting it out into the future, your procrastination comes up the moment that you want to get started on something. And here's what I want you to do. Here's what you can do. Take your procrastination and lift it up and put your procrastination into the future. So all you're really doing is you're taking your procrastination and you're procrastinating your procrastination. Does that make sense? So what you can do is you can go, next time you think of yourself, and I'm going to speak directly to your unconscious mind now as I speak to you now, and it sinks right in there, is that next time you find yourself thinking of putting something off, think about putting off what you're putting off, which is put off your procrastination. So if you think, I'm going to procrastinate, and I'm going to put that project out, instead go, you know what, I'm going to procrastinate my procrastination. And so you're going to take that procrastination and you're going to put it out into the future, and you're going to go, well, I'm going to procrastinate tomorrow, I'm going to get started now. And so you take your procrastination and instead you put it out into the future and you replace it with your goal. And you get your goal done and you procrastinate it later. So you get started on, you go, well, I'm up now, or I'm lying in bed right now, and I could put off my getting started on my exercise or moving my body. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put off putting it off. And I'm going to put off putting it off until, tomorrow. And I'm going to get started now. And I'm just going to get out of bed now. And I'm just going to get started. So that's how you procrastinate your procrastination. Pretty simple process, but I'm sure you'll find that really useful as the future goes on, and as time goes on. Alright, so next, moving whiteboard. Should have pinned that down. Alright. So next, there we go. Okay, moving. All right. So next, what we want to focus on is, like I shared earlier, is confidence. Now, not all of us are necessarily 100% confident in everything that we decide to do. There's my perfectionist mindset going on there, or my idealist parts. So not all of us are 100% confident in everything that we want to do in life. There could be a brand new thing. For example, if I wanted to go skydiving, I've never done that before yet, and So I may not be as confident. I may be standing there just about to jump out of the plane, looking down and going, ooh, not so confident right now, a little bit nervous. So all of us have experiences in our life, whether that be speaking in public, whether that be starting at the gym. It might be just walking around people at the gym and as you go from equipment to equipment. It might be starting at a new job. It might be just starting anything new and not having that confidence that you wish you had at your previous role or at your previous job or in your previous experience. And there's a way where you can bring in a lot of that confidence into the now, into something that you're not as confident about. So if there's something that you want to be confident in, that there's a moment or a time or a place where you want to feel really confident, then continue listening on, because I'm going to share with you a specific tool and technique that you can use today in order to be able to boost your confidence. So, and this is an NLP technique. And it's called anchoring. So this particular technique is really easy to, as an example, for example, you've probably been driving down the road, just cruising along, and then all of a sudden you hear a song come on, and as that song comes on, you start to reminisce and think of the last time that you heard of that song. Maybe it's a special song, maybe it's a song where it takes you back to a time and place when you just felt really good and you're taken up into that feeling, and you start to feel those same feelings that you felt during that time when you first heard that song, during that experience. And as you think of that experience, you feel those feelings, and they begin to radiate through your body, and all of a sudden something snaps you out of it and you've got to stop for a red light. So we can actually apply the same process, and we can apply it whenever we want. So let's say that, for example, and we're just going to do this now together, so instead of just sitting there passively and watching, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to stand up if you need to, or just kind of jiggle your body about, and I'd like you to, as you listen to me now and as you watch this video, I'd like you to participate in what I'm going to ask you to do now. So make sure that you're ready to take action and that you're going to do this with me. So do this with me now. Now I just want you to think of a time. I want you to think of a time when you felt totally confident, when you felt absolutely confident that you could do anything, that you could achieve anything, that you just knew. So think of that time when you felt totally confident. It could be a time that was really recent, or it could be a time in the past. Go back as far as you need to in order to remember that time of feeling totally confident. Okay, you got it? Got that time? Okay, thinking of that time when you felt totally confident. Now, thinking of that time, notice what you saw. Notice what you heard. Notice what you feel. Notice those experiences and those feelings. Where do you feel it in your body? Do you feel it in your head? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your stomach? Do you feel those feelings? Where do you feel them? Wherever you feel them is good for you. I just want you to notice those feelings in your body, and I want you to notice the sounds and what you saw during that time. I want you to notice all the crispness, all the colors, or if there's no colors, the black and white. I want you to notice the clarity and the focus. I want you to notice whether it's a bright picture or whether it's framed. I want you to notice whether it's changing or steady. I want you to notice the sounds now. I want you to notice the sounds. I want you to notice what you heard during that time of feeling totally confident. Was it loud sounds? Were the sounds coming from inside you? What was your self-talk like? What were you saying to yourself during that time? Notice what you're saying to yourself. Notice what you were hearing around you. And now I want you to notice the feelings. What did you feel around you on the outside? Were you holding anything? Or were you feeling some feelings through your body? What were you feeling in your head? Or what were you feeling in your chest or your stomach? Just notice those feelings now. And just imagine that you have a dial, and that you have the ability to grab that dial and turn it up. And as you turn that dial up, you're actually able to improve those feelings and increase them in your body. So I just want you to reach inside now. I just want you to reach inside. I want you to grab that dial. I just want you to turn that dial all the way up, and turn it all the way up from an 8 to a 9, all the way up to a 10. And then as you turn it all the way up to a 10, I want you to press your left finger against your right hand knuckle, just like that. So holding it down there, feeling totally confident, feeling all the way out of 10, really, really strong now. Feeling those feelings of totally confident. I just want you to take your finger off. Okay, really good. Now just think of purple monkeys. Just break the state. Okay, so what we just did there is we just did an anchoring process where we anchored a feeling of totally confident to that right knuckle. And that anchor now, if you were to, now that you're not thinking of purple monkeys, or are you now? So what I'd like you to do is just clear the screen. Now I'd like you to put yourself in a neutral state, shake your body out if you need to. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to press your finger in a moment, not just yet, I'd like you to press your finger in a moment on your knuckle and notice what happens, notice how you feel, notice the feelings, the similar feelings of feeling totally confident. I just want you to do that now. So just press your finger against your knuckle and notice those feelings of feeling totally confident. Notice those feelings feeling totally confident, and then take your finger off now. So what you've done there is you've just set an anchor of feeling totally confident. And what we have the ability to do is actually layer multiple feelings on top of that one anchor point. And usually we make the point a really specific point, a really specific anchor, so that nothing else is going to trigger other than when you purposefully want to feel totally confident. So what we can do is we can actually layer feelings of feeling totally excited, falling on the ground laughing, totally certain. And we can layer feelings like that and we can place them onto that same spot so that that same anchor becomes even stronger and more powerful. So the next time you need to feel more resourceful, more confident, more powerful, you simply press that feeling in your knuckle, feel the feelings through your body, and then take that into the experience that you're experiencing now. So that's an example of anchoring and how to use that in order to boost your confidence. So here's the steps in order to create an anchor. The first step that we did was you think of a time when you felt the emotion that you want to feel. So think of a time when you felt confident, totally confident. And then number two is get clarity on the sounds, any sounds that you heard, any images, or what you, this is visual, what you saw, and my writing's bad, and, and feelings. So gain clarity on what you heard, on what you saw, and what you felt. And then third, turn it up, use the dial. And then number four, anchor it. And this is a specific place, yeah? Make it a specific spot in your body so that there's no mistaking it. Cool, and that's how you create an anchor. And that's how you can feel totally confident at any moment. Now this awareness to you should be pretty cool, because this gives you the awareness now that if you have the ability to be able to create the feelings of totally confident now, whenever you want, whenever you decide to create that state now, then you probably have the awareness and the realization now as I speak to you now, you may be thinking, ah, yes, I am the one who creates the state. I'm the one who decides when I feel happy. I'm the one who decides when I feel confident. I'm the one who decides when I feel unhappy. I'm the one who decides when I feel depressed. I'm the one who decides when I feel excited. So that's pretty empowering. If you're the one who controls how you feel moment to moment, and you're literally doing that throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your year, then who's driving the bus? Who's the one in control of how you feel? Is it the people around you who say stuff or do things that you disapprove of? Is it them pushing buttons, or are the buttons inside you? Are the buttons outside you or inside you? If they're outside you, where are they? Are they on your back? Are they on your shoulder? Are they on your chest? No. The buttons are on the inside, right? Sure. So if your buttons are on the inside, who's the one that pushes them? You are. And if you have the ability to be able to create these feelings of totally confident at any time that you want, just by focusing on a time when you felt totally confident, or if you want to feel happy, think of a time when you felt totally happy and think of that time and bring it into the now. Just grab that memory, pull it into the now, or grab that memory from behind you, pull it into your now. Wherever your memories are of the past, or things that made you happy, made you feel confident, that had you feel excited, those feelings that you felt during that time, just bring them into the now. So you're the one driving the bus, right? You're the one pushing your own buttons. That's a pretty powerful thing, place to come to realize. That's fantastic. When I realized that, it completely changed my life. Completely changed my life. As I hope it will you too. So changing perspective, being able to get through challenges is next. So let me just rub this off. Love these whiteboards. Okay. So, next we're going to go into challenges, and this is just a wrap up for you. How many of us have ever had a challenge come up in our life? Everything's going really smooth, maybe it's recent, maybe you've had a time recently where you're just like, life is so good, or life is pretty steady, life is pretty relaxed. And then all of a sudden, bam, something comes in. Oh no, it's a challenge. Like I shared earlier, for every opportunity there's challenge, for every challenge there's opportunity. It's up to us to find that opportunity in the challenge. So one way that we can find the opportunity in the challenge is by simply shifting the way that we're looking at the challenge. And so by realizing that every opportunity has challenge and every challenge is opportunity, and finding it, that also makes a shift in perspective. But here's another way that you can shift perspective, and this is another NLP technique. Now, a lot of us, some people do this naturally, some people have developed this over the years, and some people don't do it. So here, to bring into your awareness now, is this feature unconscious mind. In your conscious mind, we get a conscious-unconscious congruency. I'd like to share with you today that in order to break through challenges, in order to make your challenges change, in order to appear more manageable, if you feel sometimes like things get out of control, or when you say things, you're referring to the challenges, and if those challenges feel like they get too big for you, here's a way to shrink them down. If you feel that challenges become unmanageable and all into pieces, and they shatter everywhere, then maybe your world seems like that at the time. How would you like to bring it all together? How would you like to make it more manageable? Using contrast is the way that we do that. So contrast gives us the ability to be able to change the way we're perceiving something. And here's how it works. Let's say, for example, yesterday I was on Facebook and I noticed a friend commented on a lady who recently got attacked by a shark. Now, yeah, that's sad. The lovely lady passed away after being eaten by a shark. So, that's not necessarily, that aside, sure, lovely lady, that happened and she passed away. A lot of people were commenting and focusing on it and going, oh, how sad. And I said, yeah, sure, she's a lovely lady, she passed away, a shark attack, it's unfortunate. I said, however, also, if you want to look around the world and see what else is going on, what about the millions of children that are dying from hunger every year? What about the hundreds of people that die on the roads every year? Do we go and start destroying cars everywhere or making car driving illegal because people are dying, hundreds of people are dying on the roads every year? No, we don't. Just like, that kind of seems a little bit silly to go and kill a bunch of sharks as well. If there's already a bunch of deaths happening in other areas and we're not really doing all that much about it. So, or you could be doing a lot about it, either way. Or there's the, hunger side. Right, so there's this one lady who passes away from a shark attack, and to a lot of people they're focusing on it and they're blowing it up and they're making it seem really big and like a big tragedy and they should do something about it and put nets up and all this stuff. However, when I made the comment of, well, what about all the millions of children dying from hunger around the world, they all just stopped talking. Why? Because I created a contrast. Because the experience of the lady and the shark, first of all, it looked like this, yeah? To everyone focusing on it, it seemed like, oh, it's such a big problem. Oh, it's so sad. And then I made it a smaller problem because what did I do? I created a contrast. I said, yeah, but what about all these kids? What about all these millions of kids that are passing away from hunger? And then it shrank down this other problem of the sharks. It shrank it down and made it this tiny little problem. So it made it seem a lot less significant. It made it seem, and this is what the media does. The news do this all the time. They blow things up. They blow things up. The news and the media, they're always blowing things up, and that's what, they make something seem like a big tragedy. So the next time something happens, for example, if you're like, oh no, my size of my clothes, I'm a size 20 or 25, then what you can do is you can go, well, at least I don't have diabetes and my legs aren't going to get cut off. And it makes your problem seem a lot smaller. You can say, well, I haven't got the energy that I want from my job or my business or my relationships. So, I'm not eating the way that I should to fuel my body with the energy. My energy is so low. But then you could contrast and go, well, at least I don't, I'm not born in Africa with no food and living out of scraps. making your problems seem smaller and crunching them down. So I hope this has been really useful for you and a really useful way in order to be able to shrink your challenges down and make them seem a lot smaller. And so what I would recommend that you do is that if you found this webinar useful in some way, I would recommend that you reach out to me. What I'm doing is for a limited time I'm offering a free 1-hour coaching call. This is like a consult, a coaching call, just to see where you're at, see if there's any ways you can make some shifts, even make some shifts on the call. There's plenty of people that have made some really great breakthroughs on the 1-hour call while they've been working with me. Just check out the testimonials at nickritchielive.com. And I'll tell you what, make sure that you grab your free copy of Boost Your Body Image with NLP. It's going to give you many tools and techniques and strategies that I personally use and that you can apply in your own life to start making shifts and making changes that you want now. So, you know what? I'm going to shoot another video soon. So thanks for watching. Thanks for jumping on this webinar. And if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Jump on to nickritchielive.com, grab your free NLP ebook, and of course reach out to me. Send me an email if you have any questions or you have any challenges in your in your relationships or with your health, or you want to get that on track, or maybe your job or your business, you want to break through that and get a promotion or get your business to the next level. Feel free to reach out to me, send me an email, or send me a message, or you want to jump in for a free 1-hour coaching call, and I'll catch you really soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.